everyone, welcome to You're Not Alone Conversations. We're powered by HSpot, the emotional well-being app, and today we're in conversation with Ajay. Ajay is working currently with CUPA, which is Compassion Unlimited Plus Action, and it's an animal welfare organization. But Ajay and I actually go way back. So Ajay was the first employee of my marketing startup, which is called Cleos. And the best part about Ajay was the day he came for the interview, he said, I really want to join Cleos, but you have to know that I love animals and I'm going to end up doing something in the animal welfare field. So don't be surprised if one day I just up and go and start working on that. And of course, through the entire journey that he had with Cleos, he was so invested in all these other side animal projects. And there was this one time which I have to highlight, Ajay, before I let you speak. So Ajay was late to work one day and I get a text from him and he's like, Kritika, I'm sorry I'm running late, but my cat is stuck on a tree. And I'll never get over that because I swear you read about it. There are like so many memes about it. That was the best excuse I ever got and a good reason to that. But Ajay, thank you so much for coming on You're Not Alone Conversations. How have you been?
I've been good, Geetika. Thank you so much. And thank you for the kind words and nice introduction. And I'm glad that you remember me that way. Yeah, I think it is, I find it hard to believe that I'm here right now after coming to that interview and saying I will be working with animals and I'm working with animals right now. So, yeah.
The best, most commendable things. I mean, you were amazing at what you did with Cleos, but from everything that I've seen on your Instagram, I think you're way, way, way better at taking care of animals.
But I think that my time in Cleos really helped me understand a lot of aspects of the work that we were doing together. And that is somewhere down the line helped me strengthen a lot of my skills that I actually apply over here. So I think that I always think about you when I speak to the press or I speak to external agencies or I speak to anybody. I'm like, thank God I worked with Geetika and Naina. They whooped my ass, but then I loved every moment of working with Cleo. So yeah, I think a part of the credit also goes to you and Naina.
Thank you. That means the world to me, and I'm sure Naina's going to really like that as well. But Ajay, getting into You're Not Alone Conversations, just as a quick introduction to you and to everyone about You're Not Alone Conversations. What the aim of You're Not Alone Conversations is to sort of share with you stories from different people, from some amazing people just like Ajay here, about what they're going through and what they've gone through in life, how they've coped with certain situations, and how they've sort of helped, sort of dealt with their emotional wellness as well along the way. And the reason we talk about all this is so people who are listening to us, people who are watching us, know that any situation that they're going through, they're not alone in that. Of course, everyone will not relate to every story being shared on this platform, but at the end of the day, even if you relate to one story, I think our job is done. Because when you know that you're not alone in what you're going through, you automatically begin to feel a little better about your situation. So Ajay, delving into You're Not Alone conversation, because the topic of this season has been fear, what for you is fear? What do you think fear really is?
I think fear is, I would call fear an everyday companion, only because we feel fear in various different levels on a daily basis. And coming back to myself, I feel a lot of fear, like on different levels on a daily basis, professionally, especially because I'm dealing with animals on one side, I'm dealing with people with one side, I'm dealing with employees every day. So there's this constant pressure, self pressure that one tends to create, and you're constantly afraid of whether something's going to go wrong or something's, gonna there's going to be a slip up. And I think yeah, that is the everyday fear that at least I go through. I'm sure many people go through the same kind of fear, but I think it also depends on how we um, befriend this fear. I would say befriend, because I would say people should not be affected by it, where it kind of influences the way they behave in a negative manner. I think we need to accept that there is this kind of fear, uh, anxiety, fear, and it's normal, and we need to embrace that feeling and just feel the way we feel.
I think it's very interesting that you've used the word befriend your fear. Like, I think that's a very interesting phrase to use. But I
Yeah.
agree, you have to sort of embrace it after a point and move forward. But has there been a time in your life where you felt fear, like where you've been absolutely like, now what should I do? Like,
Uh, yeah, there have been many times in my personal life and my professional life. Uh, and I used to freak out, Geetika. You have no idea. I used to freak out. I did not know how to deal with it. I went for professional therapy a year ago, and things started getting a lot better for me after going for therapy for a whole year, because I suffered from severe anxiety to a point where it affected me physically, and and it was a lot of small irrational fears that I just kept building in my own head, and it just I just like, how much can you take in your mind? So then I kind of went for professional help, and it really helped me. And it still takes me through every single day of my life, professionally and personally, and I feel so much better about it. And I think there's nothing wrong in seeking professional help, because it's always important to focus on your mental well-being. And I'm so glad that you're doing your You Are Not Alone conversations, because that is what you're focusing on as well.
that's thank you actually for sharing that you've not only gone through a phase in your life where you felt like very crippled by anxiety and like by fear that was you were facing, even if you felt that there were very small little things that were causing it. But and the fact that you actually went and seek therapy, I think that's very important right now, because a lot of times people don't seek professional help. They tend to either want to deal with it themselves or brush it under the carpet, or the worst thing, log kya kahenge, what will the people say if I actually went to a therapist. So it's really, I think it's one of the best things I've heard on You're Not Alone conversations to date, where you've actually said that you've gone and seeked help and gotten help, and I think that's amazing. But tell me something, like you deal with animals, right? On a daily basis, you are, at the end of the day, even if not directly, indirectly so. How has that been for you, especially during the pandemic? I'm sure the animals, of course, have gone through a lot. We've all been reading in the news that uh, because of the pandemic, either they were abandoned, or like you had told me before the conversation, that their parents, pet parents, have passed away because of COVID. So how has that been for you? How is dealing with that going?
So it has been very stressful, and it has been also a lot of work, because you're dealing with a lot of negative news all around you in the first place, and then you have to, hold yourself together and start thinking about how am I going to help all these animals, and how are we going to help all of these animals together as a community. And we, as an organization, actually reached out to close to 5,000 animals that were affected because of the lockdown. And these were a combination of dogs and uh, cattle and horses owned by marginalized communities. And we were distributing food for dogs on a daily basis, and we were also distributing essential grains and fodder for these communities that own these cattle, and all of them were affected economically because of the lockdown. They didn't have work to sustain themselves. So we kind of like reached out to as many animals as we could, and with the program is still ongoing as we speak. So yeah.
That's very interesting. So like I know it's affected me quite a bit personally, because especially related to anything animals, I always get very deeply affected. But does that affect you as well when you see like some really bad cases coming in to Cuba? I know you have different branches, right? Like
Yes, we have different centers, and I mean, it doesn't personally affect me because I'm used to seeing these kind of cases on a regular basis. Uh, I mean, certain stories really affect me. We run a cruelty wing, and it's really sad to see the extent of cruelty meted out to certain animals, and it's shocking. So and it's scary. I mean, that in itself like induces like a kind of fear in you,
yeah.
to know that there are people out there doing such horrible things to animals.
Right.
But coming back to community effort, there is like a collective effort that everybody is putting in to ensure that animals are taken care of, well-being of animals, ensuring people are spreading information about the laws surrounding the protection of animals. And it's I see this conversation happening a lot more often than before. So I would say that that is a good thing. uh, but in terms of the animal rescue aspect of it, it's our daily work. So our frontline workers, the people who actually go out and pick up the animals, I wonder how they must be feeling. They must be overwhelmed, and physically tired, mentally drained, picking up an animal, bringing them to the center, getting them treated,
Yeah.
and doing that on a daily basis. And our trauma center, the trauma center that our organization runs, uh, it runs 7 days a week. So staff just run on shifts. All of us work 6 days a week. So yeah, so that's I think yeah, that's how you kind of picture the whole.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think what you're doing is absolutely commendable. You and like the entire Cuba team. Because for me, animals has always been a very, very like close to my heart subject, especially in times like now where at least all of us can vocalize what we're going through, but animals can't. And the compassion that you need to show animals at this point is should be almost everyone's top priority. Sadly, it's not. Sadly, they think because they can't talk, they can just be abandoned or left. And I know there are a lot of cases that happened in Delhi as well, where people thought it's because of animals that they're getting corona. So animals ko bahar nikal diya. They just left the animals. And I think we need people like you and people like Cuba, the Cuba team, sorry, and a lot of these other animal welfare organizations to keep doing what you're doing. And of course, please tell us if we can help out in any way. And in case we can't help out Cuba, or you can't help out Cuba, or you don't want to help out Cuba, please help out other animal organizations in your city, in your area, because it's really needed. It's the need of the hour.
I think, yeah, so we have different ways that people can help us. People can passively adopt an animal that lives with us in case they are not able to adopt. I'm sure people are not, everybody cannot adopt a pet. Also, support, go through the work that we do and support the work that you think you'd like to support, either the animal birth control program or, aiding our cruelty wing, because we have cruelty inspectors going out there and ensuring that at least that one animal is saved from cruelty. And we also have adoption centers and shelters which constantly require upkeep, and our animals require to be fed on a daily basis. So sponsor a meal for the animals, or just give us a general donation for our overall functioning uh, as an organization. And if people would like to do their bit for animal welfare, I think start from home, start feeding the dogs and cats outside your home. See if you can also get them vaccinated and neutered, because that you're also going to be taking that extra step in ensuring their well-being for a very long time. So yeah, this is my message out there for people.
Thank you, Ajay. I think I really, really, truly hope people get the message and actually start contributing a little more to animal welfare if they aren't already doing so. But more importantly, I think what I got from this conversation is that if if you truly want to pursue your passion, you should totally go for it, just like Ajay did. And of course, there'll be obstacles in the way, and there'll be a lot of things that will happen, but don't let them stop you, especially when it's something as amazing as taking care of animals or taking care of someone, and doing your bit for the society. Second thing that I personally have really admired about this conversation is about Ajay telling us to not be scared of seeking help, professional help, when you feel like the world around you is collapsing. I think that's a very brave thing to do. And you're not alone if you want to go ahead and seek that professional help. Ajay, thank you so very much for being a part of your Not Alone conversation. This has been a very, very nice conversation and something that's very close to my heart. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Geetika, for organizing something like this. I'm sure. I mean, I watched every single episode of your Not Alone conversations, and it was nice. I felt closer to everybody that spoke, because I could relate to so many things that people were speaking about. So it's important to share your personal experiences, and also let people know that they are not alone, in going through whatever they're going through. And this thing about fear, I think fear is something that we deal with on a daily basis, and we should just accept it and try to manage it in a much better way. And interesting highlight uh, for this particular topic. So it gets your mind ticking.
I know you actually went and did a bit of research on fear as well when I asked you to talk about it. But thank you again so much for coming on your Not Alone conversation. This has been amazing. And everyone watching us and listening to us, stay tuned. There are more conversations coming soon. Take care, everyone, and take care, Ajay. Bye.
Right.